saying, men and women being out of order, single mother homes, father in jail, drug abuse, drug addiction. Our people want to make a quick buck, so they selling heroin. I'm from Paterson, New Jersey, and heroin is running rampant in Paterson, New Jersey. The cops don't even give a damn about who's selling weed. It's just all about the damn heroin, which at one point, and it might still be going down, you had a so-called Judite brother, okay, so-called black man that was mayor. He was running all the drug I gotta get his name, running all the drug operations in Paterson, pushing all the heroin in Paterson, so our people can get a quick dollar. Cocaine, crack is a big epidemic. And I saw a video on YouTube, I forgot where it was, I think it might have been Memphis, one of them southern countries, might be in Carolina, where there was a crack house that got shut down. Right?
As soon as it reopened?
Yeah, and then it got shut down, and a few days later it reopened, and all the fiends was lined up begging them to reopen and sell them drugs again, and guess what? They was right with it. That's not loving your people. If you love your people, you wouldn't sell them poison. If you love your woman, you would teach her to get in order. You would teach her to, if your woman loved your kids, she would have the kids in order. Have the house in order. She's supposed to be the keeper of the house, as it says in the scriptures. And the kids, if you love your kids, you will have them in order to teach them to have the future generation in order. Because that's how we are destroyed as a nation. The so-called white man, the damn devil, his name is Esau. You heard about Willie Lynch, that Willie Lynch letters. It's all there. They conspired. It's not a conspiracy theory. They plotted how to destroy our family homes, to divide and conquer us, so that way they can destroy us and conquer us and keep us slaves mentally, because that way they don't gotta keep us in chains no more. They don't gotta whip us and keep us in chains and put us out into fields. We willingly enslave ourselves for them every single time we bump that dumbass rap music. We watch that dumb shit on the TV that's witchcraft. Propagating that dumb crap on the TV. Poisoning our minds. Wanting to bleach our skin and dye our hair blonde. Walking around with the pants hanging down. Smoking, talking that shit. Every single time. They don't gotta whip us into slavery no more. We're doing it ourselves. There's more on that?
I got another one though. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
Is Israel a servant? That's us. Because we ain't no Cubans, we ain't no Dominicans, we ain't no Puerto Ricans, we ain't no none of that. We're the children of Israel. We're the true children of Israel. And these devils know it. These so-called Jews rocking bra cups on their heads, they know that they're not the real Jews.
Right.
They know that we're the ones that they know that they snatched us out of Africa knowing who we are.
Yep.
If you go to the west coast of Africa, that prison where they put our people in, because them Africans, those Hamites, they know that they snatched up Hebrews. Yep. And that prison is called Port Judah.
Right. Yep.
Because they put Jews in the prisons.
Yeah, that's right.
They hunted us down and said,
That's right.
go ahead, you got something to say, brother?
Yo, real quick, I said, in the movie Amistad, they showed you, they were singing Hebrew, they were Yahweh, 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 even though they were saying Yahweh is really Yahweh, but they showed you in the movie in a roundabout way, they were speaking Hebrew, man.
Kumbaya,
Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. That's Hebrew.
Yeah, that's Hebrew, man. It's
still sing that.
Go ahead, sister.
Trace back to Israelites, where the African American and Puerto Rican can trace their roots back to the true tribe of Judah, 12 tribes of Judah.
I told you, for Judah.
There are many books.
Yeah, I got one right here. From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. It lets you know about the Israelites that went into Africa that were sold into slavery. It lets you know about the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans.
From Babylon to where?
From Babylon to Timbuktu. You can take a picture of it if you want. All right, it's by Rudolph R. Windsor. And this is Windsor.
Take a picture of it, sister.
Rudolph R. Windsor.
You want to take a picture of it, sister?
Take a picture of it,
I
sis.
got it.
You got it?
Yeah, and I'll say this too, because a lot of people, they'll look at us and be like, yo, you know, we making a lot of this up. Rudolph R. Windsor, he's a well-known historian, and he also knows that he's an Israelite. He knows that we're the Lord's chosen people. You know, he's actually confessed that this is the truth.
Yeah.
And I'll go to just a quick example, page 84. This is page 84 from Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. It says on the second paragraph, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem in 70 AD. General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves, which, to go into it, those weren't Jewish slaves, those were black Jews, okay? Those were Israelites. And even in the next paragraph, it's going to go into it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And he's quoting Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. So that's just one example right there.
Another one.
Yeah, come on.
This is another one. The medieval empire of the Israelites. Ecuador, okay? It's on page 29. This is the medieval empire of the Israelites by Robert Grisham and Vladimir Milane. All right? It says in Ecuador, as regarding the South American Indians and their possible relationship to the lost tribes of Israel, an article was published in the Israeli newspaper Ma'arif in December 1974 with the following content. In 1587, the Jesuit Nicholas Deltus was sent to South America by the King of Spain for missionary purposes, aka to convert the Indians to Christianity. In Argentina, Nicholas discovered a people who bore Jewish names, namely Abraham, David, Moses, and so forth. To the question on whether they were circumcised, which was only an Israelite custom, it says, these people answered thus, yes, just like our ancestors. In the same region were found stone knives used for circumcision. Sharpened stone knives are mentioned also in the Bible as a special instrument for completion of the rite of circumcision. An Argentine tribe where a stone slab with 3 commandments was found causes no less interest. Do not steal, do not lie, do not kill. So right there, all right, and they got, Israelites, so-called Native Americans. That right there just lets you know that even before the so-called white man pushed this Christianity on our people, the northern tribe was practicing certain Israelite customs because they were Israelites. And they said, this was back in 1587, even before America was even established. It said, why? Because their forefathers practiced circumcision, and their forefathers bear the names of our ancient forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and David, and Moses, which are Hebrew names. So that was in the southern kingdom, and that was in the northern kingdom, the so-called Latinos and Indians, and the brother just provided information about the so-called Negros, which all goes back, links up to prophecy with the scriptures anyway.
So let me ask you something. So what you're trying to do is help the people out here realize that they're Israelites?
Yeah.
And then
It doesn't stop there though. Not just knowing you're Israelite doesn't stop it. That's the first
process. First you want them to accept in their mind that they're Israelites, right? Then what do you do? What's the second step?
Actually, I'll say this. It's not so much that first that they're Israelites, it's to know who the Lord is, who the Heavenly Father and the Son is, truthfully. And then once they realize who the Most High Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shai is, then they'll know who they are, according to what the scriptures say, who the Lord is going to raise up in these last days and give the kingdom to.
So you're saying the first thing you try to do before you accept, they are accepting their Israelite heritage as Jews, right?
Well,
you want them to first confess Christ? Is that what you're saying?
Well, sure.
Like how?
It's basically bringing them to the knowledge of what the scriptures say, who the Most High is, why we went into slavery, why the earth is under the condition it is, and who's the one that's going to come back and save us, these people, the Israelites.
All women do not have clothes on. All women have clothes on. Remember that. All women have clothes on.
All right, so so basically that's what the protocol is, to bring them back to the Most High, to bring them back to Yahweh and to Yahweh Shai, and so that they know who they are.
How do you bring them back?
Using the scriptures. Just reading the scriptures.
So you have any of them
going to answer your question.
10 and 9, you have them confessing Christ as Lord.
I got you right here. It's going to answer your,
It's going to answer it right
question.
there.
Let's go answer your question right here. I'm going to start at verse 29. This is Baruch chapter 2, verse 29. If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord their power. For I will give them a heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck, and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. Going into after we in our captivity, after we were dropped, like the brother bring out in that book, millions of Jews had fled into Israel, out of Israel into Africa. So that was actually when we never, around 70 AD, when we never returned to Israel. So ever since, we've been scattered amongst all these nations. So it says that they would remember themselves in the land of their captivities, because we in the scriptures is an ongoing thing of Israel going into captivity and captivity and captivity. This being the last captivity. So that's why you see brothers like right you see in all over the four corners of the earth coming up to their true nationality of being the Israelite. But not only that, it said they will call upon my name, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the ancient, in the Lashman Kodash, the ancient name, the true name. And then after that, because it's going into the process. So first you're gonna remember that in your captivities, you're gonna remember yourself, and then you're gonna call upon thy name, and then you're gonna understand that our forefathers went off. Let's say you're gonna remember your father's wicked deeds, because that's why we're in a captivity. The curses are upon us because we forsake the law. So then after that, it says then the Most High is gonna actually redeem us out of here, the elect, because it's not everybody that's gonna get delivered. You got the 144,000 and the 1/3, but the 2/3 of Israelites that are on this sign, they're gonna have to get put away. But that is also, this is the Apocrypha, which is part of the 1611 King James version. It was originally part of the scriptures, but they took it out in around between the 1800 and 1900.
I'll say this right quick, brother. Yeah, and that's actually the book of Baruch. And if you look into the Old Testament, Baruch was actually the scribe of Jeremiah.
That's right.
So they go hand in hand with each other.
You know who took it out? This is why a lot of people don't know about the Apocrypha. Because the so-called Jews that stole our identity took those 14 books out of the original Bible, which it says in the book of Revelation, the last chapter, that whoever takes away from this word or adds to this word, they're gonna get plagued with all the plagues written in this book. They already cursed themselves. Because they took away 14, why? So that we could have more difficulty identifying ourselves and identifying them and that so-called Negros and Latinos are brothers and sisters. Just one slave master taught us English, another taught the rest Spanish.
Can I say something too? And also they took it out, that like the brother said, the 10 tribes. The Bible tells you how the Indians got over here.
Did you say 10?
Yeah, the 10 tribes. No, yeah, but the kingdom split into two, the northern southern kingdom. Now the Apocrypha got taken out. Can you bring that out? You can break it down. The 10 tribes, the so-called indigenous tribes, the Native Americans, the Seminole Indians, the Mexicans, the Taino Indians, Puerto Ricans, all the kingdom of Israel, which were the Indian tribes that was in the Western Hemisphere, when the kingdom of Judah was in the west coast of Africa. It tells you there how they got over here. See, now the white man will teach you in the schools, we came through the Bering Straits, and the so-called Latinos are Chinese. That's BS. We don't come from the Mongolians. We are the 10 tribes that came over here, because Solomon knew of this land. Arsarith, the unknown land. We knew of this land. So the Bible, they took that out because it clearly tells you how the Indians came over here to the Western Hemisphere. This is history we're talking about.
Yeah, because they tell us that we came from the Bering Strait in Alaska, then down Canada. That's bullshit. We came here in ships. Go ahead.
What's your name, your organization? What do you call yourself?
Israelites.
It's the national nation of people.
We're Hebrew Israelites. That's our nationality.
We're Hebrew Israelites that
organization?
Men of valor.
Men of valor. Like you can look it up on
Men of
YouTube.
valor?
Men of valor 12.
Men of valor.
Men of valor.
The men that was the men that was with King David, the mighty men of valor. That's what we go by, the men of valor.
You want that in the address?
Yeah. Here you go, sisters, paper so you can see.
This is the book of 2nd Nedrash, chapter 13. I'm gonna start at 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth in a further country where never mankind dwelt. Brothers wanna...
Right, in that land, that further country where never mankind dwelt, civilization started out in the east, what you know as the Middle East, spread out into Africa, Europe, Asia. All right, and there was nobody over here except for animals and stuff. All right, and we were the ones that came over here. We were the first ones over here. Christopher Columbus ain't discover America. You know what I'm saying? The Vikings came before him and they didn't even discover anything. We were the first ones here, and we came just as the scripture said, which was during the time of Shalmaneser. That's Solomon, right?
That's Solomon.
No, Shalmaneser.
Shalmaneser is a Syrian king.
He's a Syrian king. But let me say something, because Solomon used to send ships over here, because we knew Hiram Abiff, a Hamite, they knew of the gold and the spices and the silk and the riches that were here in America, and the gold. So what King Solomon would do, King Solomon had a navy. Now what King Solomon would do, he would send voyages. Just like Christopher Columbus got funded the voyage, King Solomon will fund the navy and tell his navy to go to America and pick up the gold and the spices and the wood that was here to build the temple back in Israel. So that's how we knew of this land over here. When we went into captivity under the Assyrians, we knew of this land because we knew of King Solomon. We was together and we had the records and the history of us being over here, coming over here for the voyage. King Solomon for the riches and the gold. This was like a paradise. Before Esau, the Edomites came, this place, when the Indians had it, it was like a paradise, man. And look at it now, it's a concrete jungle.
Christopher Columbus actually made a mistake coming over here trying to...
No, he made no mistake. He knew exactly where he was going because, mind you, these devils, they know who we are. They always knew who we were. And the riches that are here in our people is written in the Apocrypha. So he used the Apocrypha to come over here because he knew where we was at. They want to tell us in school that he was looking for spices and routes to go to India. That's BS.
Yeah, that's a lie. You know
and
what?
he made a mistake.
No, that's a lie.
Well, you know what? You may have a point because he wanted to go east, but he went, would he go north instead or what?
No,
He went
BS.
the opposite
You know why,
direction,
sister,
so something is wrong with that.
If you watch the movie 1492 Conquest, they tell you straight up. Hey, that's beautiful. You're supposed to research everything we say.
That's right.
All right,
That's right.
you said
the movie 1492 Conquest.
movie. I'm going to put that there. Hold on.
It tells you in the movie, real quick, it tells you in the movie that he read the book of Ezra.
1492.
1492 Conquest. You can't, it's hard to find that movie. I don't know, I think they got it on
YouTube, like bits and pieces.
YouTube, you go to Daily Motions, I think they got the full movie. But in the movie, they tell you Christopher Columbus, He read the book of Ezra's. We're reading it right now. He knew of the 10 tribes that were here. Like the brother said, Christopher Columbus had a Hebrew translator.